You have been giving a speech your entire life, not the one you prepare, not the one you rehearse in your mind before important conversations or carefully construct during moments that matter, but a parallel broadcast, continuous, unfiltered, and operating completely beneath the threshold of your conscious awareness. Every room you have ever entered, every conversation you have ever had, every moment of tension, excitement, insecurity, or quiet confidence you have ever experienced, your body was narrating all of it, to your colleagues, to strangers, to the people you were trying to impress, and the people you hoped would never see through you. Silently, precisely, and with a level of honesty that your most carefully chosen words have never come close to matching. Research in communication, psychology, suggests that the vast majority of what people actually receive from an interaction has nothing to do with the literal content of what was said. It lives in posture, in gesture, in the microsecond expressions that cross a face before the social mask can reassert itself. You are not just speaking when you communicate, you are broadcasting. And the signal has been live, whether you knew it or not from the moment you walked in. Section 1. The eye contact equation. Of all the instruments through which the body communicates, none is more powerful, more revealing, or more immediately felt than the eyes. Eye contact is not simply a social courtesy. It is a psychological transmission, one that carries simultaneous messages about confidence, interest, dominance, deception, and emotional availability, all within the span of a single glance. Too little eye contact, and the subconscious mind of your observer begins drawing conclusions immediately. Uncertainty, evasiveness, discomfort, or the telling signal that something being said does not fully align with something being felt. Too much unblinking, unrelenting without the natural rhythm of human connection, and it tips from confidence into aggression, from presence into pressure. The precise balance, sustained, warm, and naturally responsive, communicates something that no rehearsed sentence ever could. It says, "I am fully here. I am not afraid of being seen. And I have nothing to conceal." That signal, received subconsciously by everyone in your presence, is the foundation upon which trust is either built or permanently withheld. Section 2. The crossed arms illusion. Ask most people why they cross their arms and they will tell you they are simply comfortable, cold perhaps, or merely resting. And they may be entirely correct. But here is the psychological reality that comfort cannot override. The person across from you is not receiving your internal reasoning. They are receiving your signal. And the signal of crossed arms, regardless of intention, is one of the most universally decoded defensive gestures in human nonverbal communication. It communicates closure, resistance, a psychological boundary erected between you and the conversation attempting to reach you. In negotiations, it signals unwillingness. In relationships, it signals withdrawal. In leadership, it signals insecurity disguised as authority. The body does not operate in the private context of your intentions. It operates in the public context of other people's perceptions. Open posture, uncrossed arms, a relaxed but upright frame, hands visible and still, broadcasts approachability, confidence, and genuine engagement. It tells the room that you are not bracing against the interaction. You are welcoming it. Section 3. The microexpression betrayal. In 1966, psychologist Paul Ekman made a discovery that would permanently alter the science of human communication. Beneath the surface of every socially managed facial expression, beneath the practiced smile, the composed professional exterior, the carefully neutral reaction, existed a layer of involuntary microexpressions lasting between 1/25th and 1/5th of a second. Too fast for conscious control, too honest for social performance. These microexpressions, flashes of genuine contempt, fear, disgust, or joy that cross the face before the brain can suppress them, are universal across cultures, consistent across demographics, and readable by anyone who knows what to look for. You cannot fake their absence. You cannot manufacture their presence. They are the body's final, irrefutable testimony. The moment where the gap between what you feel and what you are presenting becomes, however briefly, completely visible. The most profound implication of this is not that others can read you. It is that you can learn to read yourself. To notice the flickers of genuine reaction you have been socially conditioned to suppress. To close the distance between your authentic emotional experience and the life you are actually living. Your body has been telling your story without your permission. Every flicker of uncertainty behind a confident sentence. Every micro-expression of discomfort beneath a composed exterior. Every crossed arm, every averted gaze, every restless movement that quietly communicated what your words were working hard to conceal. But here is the shift that changes everything. Awareness is not the end of this conversation. It is the beginning of a completely different one. Because the same body that has been broadcasting your unedited interior without consent, that same body, brought under conscious intention, becomes one of the most powerful instruments of authentic human communication available to you. Not as a mask, not as a performance engineered to deceive, but as the finally aligned expression of who you genuinely are, presented to the world with clarity, with purpose, and with the kind of quiet authority that no rehearsed script could ever manufacture. Section 4. The gravity of stillness in a world of perpetual motion, of fidgeting fingers, shifting weight, restless eyes, and nervous energy seeking constant release. Stillness has become one of the rarest and most commanding physical qualities a human being can possess. Watch the most respected people in any room, the experienced surgeon before a complex procedure, the seasoned negotiator at a critical table, the leader whose presence reorganizes the atmosphere the moment they enter it. They are not performing composure. They have become it. Physical stillness communicates something the subconscious mind receives as an almost primal signal of safety and authority. This person is not rattled. This person is not searching. This person has arrived at a settled place within themselves that external pressure has not yet located and cannot easily disturb. Contrast this with the physical vocabulary of anxiety, the tapping foot, the self-touching gestures, the gaze that cannot commit to a direction. Each of these micro-movements sends a continuous signal that something beneath the surface is unresolved, that the person inhabiting this body is not fully at home within it. Stillness is not rigidity. It is not the absence of warmth or animation. It is the physical expression of a mind that is not at war with itself. And developing it requires not a change in technique, but a change in relationship, with your own thoughts, with your own presence. With the radical permission to simply be in a moment without needing to physically escape it. Sit with discomfort without moving away from it. Hold eye contact a breath longer than feels natural. Let silence exist without your body rushing to fill it. Each practice, repeated daily, rewires not just how others read you, but how you experience yourself. Section 5. The touch principle. Of all the channels through which human beings communicate, touch is simultaneously the most primitive and the most psychologically profound. Before language, before expression, before any sophisticated system of meaning-making, there was contact. And the neurological pathways that respond to appropriate human touch remain among the most powerful emotional regulators in the entire biological system. Research by psychologist Matthew Hertenstein demonstrated that human beings can communicate a remarkable range of distinct emotions, compassion, gratitude, love, fear, through touch alone, with no visual or verbal information whatsoever. A brief, appropriate touch on the arm during a meaningful conversation. A firm, genuinely engaged handshake. The subtle physical acknowledgement that says, I see you. I am present with you. This interaction matters to me. These gestures, deployed with genuine warmth and contextual sensitivity, create measurable increases in trust, generosity, and positive impression, often without the recipient consciously registering why they suddenly feel more connected to the person beside them. But the operative word is genuine. Touch deployed as technique, calculated, mechanical, strategically timed, is felt immediately for exactly what it is. The body recognizes inauthenticity in physical contact with the same precision it detects it everywhere else. The invitation here is not to touch more. It is to be more present, so that when connection is expressed physically, it carries the weight of genuine human warmth rather than the hollow echo of practiced social strategy. Section 6. The congruence imperative here is the single most important principle in all of nonverbal communication, and the one most consistently, most consequentially violated. Your body and your words must tell the same story. When they do not, when your voice projects enthusiasm while your posture retreats, when your words express confidence while your eyes search the floor for reassurance, when your face arranges itself into warmth while your jaw holds the tension of suppressed conflict, people do not consciously identify the contradiction. They simply feel something is off, and that feeling, vague, unlocated but remarkably persistent, becomes the invisible architecture of distrust, not dramatic distrust, not the kind that announces itself, but the quiet, corrosive variety that makes people hesitate before fully believing you, hesitate before fully following you, hesitate before fully opening to you. Congruence, the complete alignment of inner state and outer expression, is not achieved through better performance. It is achieved through the patient, honest, sometimes uncomfortable work of actually resolving the inner conflicts your body has been reporting all along, of closing the gap between the life you are presenting and the life you are genuinely living, of becoming, progressively and courageously, someone who no longer needs the body to hold contradictions it was never designed to carry. When your inside and outside finally speak with one voice, the effect on every person in your presence is immediate, unmistakable, and profound. They do not know exactly what they are receiving. They simply know they are in the presence of someone real. Your body has never been your enemy. It has been your most faithful witness, documenting every unresolved tension, every suppressed truth, every moment where the person you were presenting to the world and the person quietly living inside you were separated by a distance you hoped no one would notice. They noticed, not always consciously, not always articulately, but in the way trust was granted slowly or withheld quietly, in the way rooms responded to your presence or remained unchanged by it, in the way relationships reached a certain depth and then, inexplicably, stopped. The body was always trying to tell you something. The stillness you have been avoiding holds the authority you have been searching for. The congruence you have been postponing holds the trust you have been struggling to build. The genuine presence you have been rationing holds the connection you have been quietly desperate for. Your body is not a liability to be managed. It is an instrument, waiting, patiently and without judgment, to be played with the full integrity of everything you actually are. And so, before this moment passes and the next distraction arrives to reclaim your attention, we want to leave you with something genuinely worth carrying. Think about the most important area of your life right now, a relationship, a professional environment, a version of yourself you have been trying to project, and ask yourself with complete honesty, does the story your body tells when no one is watching match the person you are claiming, out loud, to be? Because that gap, however wide or narrow it currently is not a flaw. It is not a failure. It is not evidence that you are somehow less than what you are reaching toward. It is simply the distance between where you are and where you are going, and the moment you name it honestly, that distance begins to close.